My king, what are men that you are so mindful of them? Mere mortals that you think of them. Yet you made them inferior only to yourself. You crowned them with glory and honor. By such among the chosen your dear emperor is found. The weight of my crown bears a great mystery. But even so, among all my jewels, I do not just put it on, I wear it. Greetings from your dear emperor, greetings to my beloved folk. In today's episode, we are going to discuss a rather interesting subject, of which is accessories. My approach towards accessories would be, that of how I would purchase my furniture and, the architecture of how you would place your furniture when you think about it. It's the kind of structure or the kind of approach that you would, you know, look forward to finding something sustainable, something that you would wake up to see every day and not, interchange as you would other items like maybe florals around the house or anything. But when you buy the TV stand, you intend to keep it there for some time. And so that is the approach that I use in purchasing my accessories, which is, quite sustainable. And so with all that being said, let's just go ahead and kick things off with a bracelet. I would want to have in my collection. And my first purchase that I'm going to mention in this video, not my first, but what I would like to bring forth as an idea of what I want, is from the house or from the establishment of Zara, of which is a neck piece I really love. It's so minimal, it's amazing. The construct of it was just pleasing to the eyes. But though stated in the site that it's not the type of material that you would want to put inside water, but that is how I would prefer my necklace to be. It's one that I would always want to wear around my neck and never take off, whether I go to sleep, whether I go bathing. I just love for it to remain on my neck. So from the house of Zara, what a stunning piece you gave me. If you could just consider that sustainability factor of your consumers wanting a piece that would remain in their necks, and given the option of not to take it off, that would be amazing to your dear emperor. And to my next item, I would bring forth a bracelet. I like my bracelets as I would, I prefer my bracelets as I prefer my neck pieces, my necklaces, is that I want the option of never wanting to take them off. Small, minimal in size, with a certain pattern, and with that level of durability and architecture and style, that it would retain the same brand newness even after some time. And I like it a bit loose, for versatility's sake, for it to be versatile and all. And um, my bracelet, if you are in Witbank, and these other items, I got them from the shop next to Vodacom. When you are at Highfield Mall, that small shop, they have amazing uh, items there. If you want jewelry for, I find them to be quite sustainable and high quality materials at a convenient price. And of course, my next item after that would be a ring. I love a stunning minimal ring, even though I got this from Bob Shop, but the detailing I got from that shop I just mentioned. I like for it to be minimal as well, to have the same material, and you could get such a ring in under 200, and I like for it to have that minimal yet classy aesthetic that would bring forth that elegance, and one you would find at Louis Vuitton. And Galaxy X Boy has amazing nice bracelets. They don't have to be metal, but I'm looking for that aesthetic that it does not abide so much to circumstance. And so yeah, I like my um ring in that way. Even when I talk as I'm sharing now, I have busy hands, and so it brings that beautiful appearance of having that effort, that minimal effort, especially for a masculine guy of my stature. It brings forth that maturity and brings forth sex appeal, because as I engage with my accessories, they are a closest thing to a tattoo. They are right there at your skin, so they give you that appeal, that expression of you taking care of yourself. And with the aspects I've mentioned of durability, of course I want to keep them clean, so I would love the option or the sustainability or the capability of them being able to be submerged underwater and still remain the same quality, even if it means I could swim with them. And my second to last item would be my timepiece, of which I also got from that shop I just spoke about. I also like my timepieces to retain that quality, that high quality, material that I usually prefer to have on my jewelry. And yeah, looking at this timepiece, please just go ahead and assume on how much I spent coin on it. Just assume on how much of the emperor has spent coin on it, because when you look at it, it has that high quality aesthetic that you would find in a high-end watch, or even moderate end watches. And if there's a thing to learn in this video, is that no matter what price point you are to purchase your watch, do so with the approach that you want something sustainable, both in the architectural design aspect of it and the material side. And so, accounting for the coin that your dear emperor has spent towards this watch, it's not that much given the compliments I have gotten you know in my timepieces, but especially this one for this video, because it has that um aesthetic of it having to not really determine whether I've spent much coin on it or not. Give yourself that luxury and that privilege now that with this insight, with this information. And so around you know your 500s, certainly below 1,000, but because I purchased it back then, it was around the 500s, of which is a steal when you think about it. So regardless of the price point, you would prefer your watch to purchase your watch, whether you are to spend 30K, if you have 50K or 100K or a million to spend on a watch. I encourage you, please do so, because it is something that you want it to retain that quality. But even with the without money, you still have the most important aspect of it is to have the mind on the exact item you want to purchase for your watch, or you would want around your wrist. And so given the fact that I don't have a large wrist, and this watch is small, I also don't like it to be too tight. Even you see, it just has, as you can see, it has that thing of not it being too tight, especially when you need to adjust it through seasons. If that in warmer seasons, your wrist sweats and it races, so you need to adjust your watch to be a little bit loose. And in colder months, your wrist gets a little bit smaller, and so you need to also adjust it back to that uh smaller size. But given the option of wearing it a bit loose, not too loose, a bit loose, it gives me that comfortability to wear it at a certain size throughout the entire year. And so, yeah, that's my advice to you. When you buy accessories, have that approach that you are buying something that you don't want to constantly worry about, but you would just put on wherever you go. And my last item would be the type of shades that you would want to put on. I like to go for something that has that aesthetic that I just came out of a photo shoot. It's class, it's your shades, something that would project that sex appeal, whether I'm wearing formal or a tie. It has nothing to do with showing your skin, but rather projecting your maturity, your maturity, that you are well aware of yourself, that you are grown, a bit dark. But usually, for versatility's sake, I would go for you know shades that are light in shade, that you could wear indoors or outdoors, given the privilege of us having grills here in South Africa. So much clubs, praise be to God. But even when you are there at the grill, having a great time with your friends, celebrating, whatever it is that you intend to do, whether you are going to a spa, wine tasting, whatever it is, have those pair of shades that allow you to have, that versatility of going to a wedding, a formal event, a casual event. Have those type of shades. Whether you want to go to, as I have mentioned, a fashion show or photo shoot, you'd have those pair of shades that you could opt for. And given my uh, problematic eyesight, I have to get prescribed glasses, prescription glasses. And at Specsavers, you are given the option, I was given the option to buy those and get these pair of shades free. And so when you are there, you are given the uh, benefit of looking at the mirror and fitting the frames that you would want, to acquire. And so, yeah, by that, thank you, Specsavers, for that opportunity, or for that luxury of me getting a pair of shades, even though, I don't have, that a good eyesight. But yeah, I've got the privilege and I purchased this pair of shades. They give me that, confidence, that allowance of me, wearing them with versatility. And yeah, so with all that being said, from your Deborah, I hope you find this informative and you are to have, insight whenever you are to invest, in jewelry, in, anything, and in jewelry especially. And for brands seeing this, your Deborah, if you are to come to me, I I encourage that aesthetic of quality, of quality even in design, because that is sustainable. From your Deborah, peace.